Morning, everyone.
Good morning, coffee moaners. Welcome to our channel if you're new, and to all our regulars, good morning, hope you're well. It's a beautiful sunny day here in South London. Tell us where you are and what your weather is like.
Morning, everyone.
Here it's blooming freezing.
Thank you for all of your lovely birthday messages and various different guises, formats, platforms, etc. Felt the love. It was really nice. We went out for a nice evening last night. We found ourselves in the middle of a church, in the middle of a dance floor.
In the middle of a dance floor
with ballet dancers going mental around us and dancing through us.
It was incredible. Mark booked this for his birthday and we went with our girls, and it was really incredible experience.
So if anyone fancies it, there are still tickets. It's called the Wayne McGregor is a choreographer, and it's not real. It's filmed dance, but in a 360-degree, three-dimensional round. You then go to a church on Shaftesbury Avenue that actually used to be where the Limelight Club was, and then you go in and you put these goggles on, and for 50 minutes you're in the middle of a bloody weird performance.
Yeah, but it's not, as I say, it's not real people there, no. but it's the most up close you can ever get to a dancer. Yeah. You see every sinew, don't you?
Yeah, I love the moment where their feet were making that noise on the
floor. It's amazing. 3D glasses, so you see it all, so everything's coming right towards you. It was quite an experience.
If you like your art, if you like immersion, if you like dance, it's right up your stride. And there's a fabulous bar downstairs that we discovered.
Yeah, and then on the way home, we listened to an album that one of our daughters recommended, and I loved it. I listened to it all again this morning. Headache.
Yeah, I recommended it the other day, actually. It's really, really good. It's so good. We listened to the whole thing all the way home. Brilliant. Really cultural day. It was lovely. Zoe, I think you'd love it.
Yeah.
I really do.
It was so good.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for all of your messages and all of your prezzies and so many love, so much love. Thank you for your post last night. It really did make me smile.
So funny. You're just funny. Just made me laugh. So Trump calls for execution of US senators. Yes, you better believe it. And we have the video evidence to prove it. And some great video evidence of his very strange press woman.
Well, we don't actually have video evidence of him saying it.
Oh.
We have his true, because he only said it on Truth
Social.
Social.
Sorry, no, but video evidence of Caroline Levitt, who I just love, his press woman.
Do you think there's just a little bit of tiredness creeping into her? Do you think there's just a little bit of her going, I don't know how much longer I can do this?
No, I don't. I think she's so weird. I want us to do a whole episode on Caroline Levitt. I want to find out everything. This is Trump's press officer. Is that what they call them there?
Press spokesperson.
Yeah. And
whatever he talks about it, all he says is, have you seen her lips? I love the way her lips move.
Yeah.
Like a machine gun.
Oh, creep.
Like a machine gun.
And we're going to be talking about the lockdown and how it destroyed many children's lives. This is off the back of the COVID inquiry.
Yeah, don't be put off by that, because
it sounds a bit dull.
And also, as we were talking about it this morning, and as we were looking at it, it was interesting because so much of this channel, so much of this community was born in the crisis of COVID and lockdown. In fact, Coffee Moaning's original incarnation was COVID Morning or COVID. Or something like that.
So all our originals, you know very well, we all got together through COVID, so through the lockdown. Listen.
And finally, we're also going to talk about consent to change your nappy. Now, this isn't for grown-ups who have the weird penchant for nappies. Is that a weird thing? No, this is literally, this story, I saw this a couple of days ago and I said it to Nads, and then Nad saw it individually and we looked at each other and went,
we both saw that story.
Yeah.
But I've had time to think about it now.
So this is, should you seek consent from toddlers or children to change their
before
nappies?
you change their nappy?
Yeah, you'll be surprised by Nadia's.
I've done a poll actually on my Instagram that we'll have a look at as well. So maybe hit the poll as well, guys, if you want.
But before we get going, I thought it's Friday. I thought we'd start with something, and I want to ask this simple question. It's funny. It's kind of funny, but it's also kind of funny, but it's kind of like, why do we find it funny? And I want serious answers, guys. You're at school. Why do we find it funny when people fall and hurt themselves?
I do not know. And my family, we are the absolute worst for it.
I mean, really?
Not really hurt themselves. No, I don't like. When you watch those funny videos and somebody's done something awful, like broken their leg. No, but pain. Well, famously, me and my sister used to. There was a complete understanding that it would happen, that we would leave upturned plugs lying around the house so that we could hear or see one of us screaming as we stood on it in pain because it would make us laugh.
And you have the audacity to have a go at me if I leave a dumbbell lying around somewhere, and you would actively
Our
leave.
feet were very different in those days.
Actively leave up-facing plugs.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Or we'd run round and round in circles, hoping to trip over so that one of us would be winded because it would make us laugh so much. We tried for years to wind ourselves, but it's very, very difficult to wind yourself.
It's really hard. In fact, Oscar did it a lot when we were filming The Gangbuster. Because there were many scenes he had to wind himself.
This is a film that made, if you're wondering what the hell he's talking about. It's a bit random. You just said Oscar would do that and do the Gangbuster. Context.
But getting winded is always quite interesting. I got winded the other day whilst I was shopping, and I didn't do anything, but I got the feeling in my chest.
Oh, that's weird.
I got really worried. I thought, I'm done.
It's a heart attack.
Well, that's what I thought, but it was on this side, and I was so winded. The woman who gives out the plastic bags at self-service said, "Are you all right?" And I was like this. I was like, oh.
You were standing up normally, and you got winded.
Yeah, around my liver. It was.
That's not good.
I came in and told you, and you just sort of like carried on, just sort of like your business. And I was like, yeah, I literally couldn't stand up. I was like, oh.
Is there any doctor in the house that can tell us what that means?
So anyway, but there was a moment afterwards where I thought that was quite funny. I must have looked really funny, struggling to stand. Okay, this is Miss Jamaica.
Oh no, I did see that one doesn't make me laugh.
Oh, why?
Because I suppose it's the performer in me. I just think that's just so awful. No, you see, I just go, oh God, I cringe for her. Oh, and it's her big night.
Why have we got
no, I'm more like when somebody.
I've got audio. So
my one is more like when somebody's trying to cross the river and they fall in. You can see they're going to fall in, or when they go on the ropes across the river.
Yes.
I love river falls.
River falls are good.
River falls.
I quite like ego falls. So like I saw Madonna doing something and she was showing off. She was doing.
I would love to see Trump trip and fall flat on his face. Yes. Trump and Netanyahu. Oh my God, if they both were holding hands, walking down the stairs and they tripped and they both fell. Oh my God.
Or perhaps when he's blowing Bubba.
Yeah.
Everyone was kind of like aligning his dance with blowing Bubba, whoever Bubba is.
Yeah.
Comedy falls only. Well, apparently
nobody found that one funny.
Oh. No, but also there was no. Miss Jamaica fell off stage during Miss Universe, but she was also carried away on a stretcher. I think.
She's hurt herself.
Oh my God!
Mark, you haven't understood a comedy fall.
No,
this is not a comedy.
But she's so full of swagger.
No, she's not.
I know.
It's her big
beautiful.
moment.
No, I know.
It's just awful.
I know.
No, I'd die for her. I'd just go, oh my God, no, that wouldn't make me.
But look, she's doing all the wavy stuff. The build-up is much better than the actual. So it's full of glam.
Oh, those things around her feet.
Look at the effort.
That's just a bit too long. She stood on the leg.
Yeah. Hang on. Yeah, it's just because this is the full build-up, and then she's put so much into she's considered every move.
It's beautiful.
It's just stunning. And then, of course, she heads off stage left. Oh no! Oh God! And
you see, you're finding this bloody funny. You're trying not to find it funny. That is not funny.
It's funnier with the build-up.
No, everyone's saying it's not funny.
Sorry.
Right.
Maybe a little funny, says MeTube.
Oh, you're just as bad, MeTube.
Oh, thanks, MeTube, for getting out of that one.
So let's go into the news, and then we've got another little funny we're going to show you in between.
Oh, yeah. And also
funnies in between.
And I've got a little message a little bit later from Mental Marky about people in Clapham. You're not going to believe it. Okay, so Trump calls for execution of US Democratic senators. Can this be real? There's a question mark in the title. Can this be real? Here's the headline in The Independent. Trump calls for arrest of seditious Democrats who told troops their duty is to uphold the Constitution. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm just going to quickly show you some of the film, not all of it, because it does go on. The Democrats in America that were basically put out a video basically suggesting to people working in the military that they don't have to follow orders. There is an occasion where
you have to stay within the law,
and maintain the Constitution by not doing some of the things that maybe your president asked you to do. So I'm just going to show you some of this because it does go on a bit.
Alyssa Slotkin,
Senator Mark Kelly,
Representative Chris DeLuzio,
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander,
Representative Chrissy Houlihan,
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy,
former CIA officer,
former Navy,
former paratrooper and Army Ranger,
former intelligence officer,
former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Wow.
I just want to read Donna Holland's
I
comment.
didn't think it went on. I loved it.
No, no,
I
it
just
didn't
love
actually.
that kind of solidarity. Like one man stands up, then another. One man or woman stands up, and then another, and then another. And this is also the crumbling.
Thanks, Donna Holland.
The crumbling of his power. Yeah.
Well, there's the crumbling of his power, and there's also a profound going mad, batshit crazy. Oh,
Okay.
oh thanks. Sorry, God. I'm just going to show you the Truth Social posts that Trump posted after this. Here you go. The one at the bottom reads, this is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up, President DJT. And he reposted again, seditious behavior punishable by death. Now, punishable by death. And I just want to show you, he then went into, which he doesn't do often, he reposts AI. He rarely reposts, unfortunately, I follow him on Truth Social. He rarely reposts statements from ordinary civilian supporters. But one of the ones that I went through, and I went through it this morning, that he did post was this. The icon or the thumbnail that denotes this account is in itself a little bit worrying because it's the sort of iron cross. But he reposted this. Hang them, George Washington Wood.
I mean, my
Donald J.
God.
Trump retruthed by P78 with a very World War I Germany sort of cross there. Hang them, George Washington Wood.
Good God.
So the question here is, in a country where assassinations happen, political violence is a reality, there's a long history of it, insurrection is a word and an action and a thing. For a president to use language like this isn't just hyperbole or exaggeration or kind of locker room chat. Punishable by death. Doesn't anyone?
I mean,
isn't this illegal?
This could, first of all, this could not happen, right? You cannot arrest senators for actually. What they're saying
so shocking.
is you do not have to do something that is illegal. You don't have to break the law if your president asks you to.
Now, what's tricky with this is, the president of the United States is the commander in chief of the American army. Yeah. Even within the rules of law, he's able to make choices and decisions on what his army does anywhere in the world. He can send them to Venezuela. They can blow fishermen as they're
fishermen
doing,
up, just
Venezuela.
accusing them randomly of being drug dealers.
Exactly. But as soon as you start to install or put troops on the ground in America and you set them against American citizens, there are legal parameters that you need to pass, you need to cross, you need to get sanctioned, you need to get passed by local Senate judiciaries and things like that. So what these Democrats are saying is that it's not strictly just because he says do it doesn't mean it's legal within the US. But Donald Trump is really, like you rightly say, I think he's really fucking demonstrating quite a few kind of erratic, I mean, even for him, erratic behavior.
Scaramucci was saying today on Rest is Politics US, he was like, he's a dead duck. He said, if you just think about if you just take Marjorie Taylor Greene and the way she stood up to him, this is what happens with somebody. He has ruled with an iron fist. But when you have your entire party vote against you, which is what happened in the Epstein files.
But he did ask them to.
Yes, but
he did it because
at the last second.
because he knew they were going to vote.
At the last second.
Yeah, you're right.
And I mean, it's just one thing after another. He is losing that grip.
Yeah, you're
that
right.
Terror that he had on people. And as more and more people, you know, go against him, go against the orders of the oh great holy one, and the terrible things he threatens don't happen, the more and more grip on power he loses.
Absolutely agree.
And for instance, yesterday when he was talking about the Saudi Arabian prince giving $1 trillion to America, Katty Kay and Scaramucci were saying it's just total nonsense.
Yes,
it's total nonsense. And first of all, Saudi Arabia couldn't afford $1 trillion. Apparently, they've spent an absolute fortune buying all these jets, building this.
Yeah, it's all forward-looking contracts.
There's no contracts, and the thing is, over and over again, he's done this, and now people are weary. You know, over and over again, he's telling people that their pocket is better, is healthier than it's ever been, and yet everybody's looking at their Thanksgiving bills and knowing that it was, time and a half again from
He's doing that classic thing.
All the lies are coming to the surface.
He's doing the classic thing where he's saying we've earned this for America when they haven't even signed a deal, and they certainly haven't invoiced, and it certainly hasn't landed in the bank.
And it's just not going to come. This is Saudi Arabia is not going to give $1 trillion to America. So he's the last few days he said so many chaotic.
Yes.
Let's be straight here. Batshit crazy. I mean, this is all batshit crazy.
Well, this is batshit crazy, but I just want to play you Caroline Leavitt his press spokesperson, trying to back this up and defend this in her sort of chat with the American press.
Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way.
The president and the vice president, for that matter, have accused the other side of encouraging political violence. Isn't that exactly what the president is doing when he says that members of Congress should be killed?
Why aren't you about what these members of Congress are doing to encourage and incite violence? They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command, not to follow lawful orders.
Actually,
every single
can refuse an illegal order.
They're suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not. Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful.
I felt she's just a little bit. I mean, she's having to.
She never usually fumbles.
No,
she fumbled 2 or 3 times. She never does.
The actress, and you notice that she absolutely is starting to stumble her words a bit. She'll have gone into the antechamber with her choir team of religiosity, and she will have probably spoken in tongues and flagellated herself for getting 2 words wrong.
Can we do an in-depth finding out
stuff
about? I want to do a whole thing on her. She fascinates me.
I mean,
there should be a movie about this woman.
I mean,
so have we had anything back from the senators? Has there been any response?
I don't know if this is one of the senators, but I've got a very, very strong worded response. The wheels are coming off the kind of any niceties that there were in American politics. Check this out.
He's losing.
Time to pick a fucking side. If you are a Republican in Congress, if you are a Republican governor, maybe it's time to draw a line in the sand and say that under no circumstances should the president of the United States be calling on his political opposition to be hanged.
Yeah.
We are at a very dangerous moment right now. The president is engaged in the wholesale incitement, endorsement, and rationalization of political violence in this country.
I just want to play the beginning again because your response was so strong.
This is a very slippery slope.
You ready?
Go.
Maybe it's time to pick a fucking side.
Pick a fucking side. The Democrats
need to talk like that.
Are rising. They are rising. They are finding their voice.
Let's just hope they don't put their lot behind Kamala fucking wankwad.
But have any of the people that are in the video said anything? We don't know yet.
Not that I know.
No. Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, we are in a
But I hope
ludicrous
that this causes more and more people to stand up. You know, I am Spartacus, and I really hope, because there will be many in the military, I'm assuming, that don't want to break the constitution or don't want to do anything illegal and don't want to set upon their own people, and maybe they will start to step forward. Of course, they'll all lose their jobs. Well, no, he will. Do you remember Hegseth's great big speech marching up and down in that theatre, telling everyone, anyone who didn't want to do exactly what they said, ta-da.
But I tell you what could be going wrong for Trump here is, I mean, their policy and their attitude has always been one of flood the zone, hasn't it? Flood the zone, keep stuff coming in. And what's beginning to happen now is, and I'm thinking of even things like his threat to sue the BBC, his zone is being flooded almost on a daily basis with so much stuff where he's being reactive. So he's unable to now kind of dictate. He's literally on the road.
Punch there, punch there. But he's been doing that for 8 months with story after story. But as more and more people gather, and my God, it took a woman, and Marjorie Taylor Greene actually has kicked everything off seriously.
Fiona
even though
Hennessy,
we don't agree with 90% of what she says.
Fiona Hennessy says she agrees with something that we think. Of course, the president is not responsible for dangerous statements. It's everyone else's fault. How is Caroline Leavitt going to teach morals to her children?
And they all are under this great big religious, you know, they excuse everything because they are true Christians. Well, my God, God help us.
Donna Holland, the chaos is imploding. I mean, I think people have had enough. I mean, MeTube says the problem that MeTube has with this is they are playing Trump's game rather than arguing the incorrect presumption of Trump, which I think would be a better argument. But, well, you see, I
think they have to play Trump's game.
Unfortunately,
this has been the problem all along, is that the Democrats have tried to do things in what's you got to get down and dirty.
Got to get down and dirty.
You got to do some punching.
Yeah, absolutely right. So I just want to, here's another moment with Caroline Leavitt. Check this out. This was in response to the clip yesterday.
Come on, Goldilocks.
Regarding Trump calling a reporter piggy.
Goldilocks.
The president speak for himself. Natalie.
Thank you, Caroline. What did the president mean when he called a reporter piggy?
Look, the president is very frank and honest with everyone in this room. You've all seen it yourself. You've all experienced it yourselves. And I think it's one of the many reasons that the American people reelected this president, because of his frankness. And he calls out fake news when he sees it. He gets frustrated with reporters when you lie about him, when you spread fake news about him and his administration. But he also is the most transparent president in history. And he gives all of you in this room, as you all know, unprecedented access. You are in the Oval Office almost every day asking the president questions. And so I think the president being frank and open and honest to your faces rather than hiding behind your backs is frankly a lot more respectful than what you saw in the last administration, where you had a president who lied to your face and then didn't speak to you for weeks and hid upstairs and didn't take your questions. So I think everyone in this room should appreciate the frankness and the openness that you get from President Trump on a near daily basis.
It's funny because you're a bit of a little piggy too. A little piggy. How would you like to be called piggy? And I think she's very wrong here. You know, Katty Kay, again, this is the rest is politics UX that I keep quoting here. She said, you know, the thing is deep MAGA will forgive everything he does, but people do not like that sort of behavior. That is so rude and so misogynistic.
Yeah, but it's so also unintelligent.
And violent.
You can't describe calling someone piggy as being transparent and frank.
Exactly. And two wrongs don't make a right. Biden was a fucking joke. He was a joke. But to say, well, at least he's down in front of you calling you piggy rather than being upstairs not talking to any of you.
The only way him calling that reporter piggy could have been transparent and sort of refreshingly frank would be if she was a pig. If she was literally a farmyard pig.
And shame on all those other journalists that didn't say a bloody word.
Well, they're all shitting themselves, aren't they? Was this someone you wanted? I'm a Brit, but former US service wife of 23 years, Rachel Thomas.
Welcome, Rachel.
Welcome. I will say the military installations all have Fox News blaring out of TVs everywhere. So I think there is some indoctrination going on.
I'm sure you're right, Rachel. Absolutely. But to a lot of, and maybe you can answer to this, truly committed, patriot, like American military who believe, you know, completely in the Constitution and the oath that they've signed, would this just blast away all of that as well?
And Reese reminds us, I mentioned this, I think yesterday, Mamdani is meeting Trump in the Oval Office today.
Oh, will he have 100 cameras there to try and humiliate him?
We wonder if it'll be in public or private. We wonder if it's going to be a Zelensky moment.
I think he will be too shitting himself to be sat next to that good-looking, very articulate young man.
Don't you think Trump and Vance will want to do bully boy tactics?
But don't you think that they've got enough about them to know that, because Vance isn't stupid, to know that he would be able to answer back very well.
Yeah, Michu thinks it'll be more cordial than we think. I just want to step to the side just for a moment before we go over to lockdown. For some reason, I haven't brought it in. I just want to play you this clip just to prove yet again.
Exactly. Very abusive. Thank you. Who's that? Sophia, to call her piggy.
Yeah.
Abusive.
Misogynistic. Yes.
You can hear the coercive controller in him. Disgraceful.
So we're just going to come off American politics for a moment and head over to the COVID inquiry. But I do want to just play this because sometimes stuff lands. It's not necessarily pegged to new news. But again, Joe Rogan was instrumental in landing Trump his victory. And we talk a lot about how important it is that Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, various right-wing Candace Owens, it's not that we agree with them, but they happen to agree with us, or a lot of us, on the situation both with Israel's control of America and also Israel's genocide of Gaza.
Money leaving America.
Yeah.
I mean, they are responsible completely for the genocide. But Joe Rogan, just for people that don't know, he is a massive voice in America.
Yeah.
He is a huge influencer. Again, on the rest is politics. US, they were saying, when you got the Joe Rogans coming out, you know, there is disintegration going on.
Yeah.
He was, I think, I can't remember what I think basically in the Latino community, really his numbers have halved. His numbers have halved because of ICE and because of everything that's going on. And yeah, he's underwater with all his numbers, isn't he?
And
in a way that he's the lowest popularity that he's ever had.
Oh, Trump. Yeah, Trump. Yeah. We talked about his approval ratings are just diabolical. I mean, diabolical. But this is just a moment between, excuse me, between Joe Rogan and Theo Von. Please check out Theo Von. He's a great podcaster. He's fantastic. I think he used to be part of the, whatever that kind of...
Podcast America.
No. Theo Von used to be part of that team that used to do wild things like stapling their head to things. And things like that. Yeah. But anyway, so this is a conversation they're having about Israel's influence on America. I just wanted to show it because it's important that we realize this sense of Israel's control and America being compromised by Israel and Epstein being connected to Israel. We need to keep promoting that narrative because it's true. It's factual. There's evidence.
Emails already.
Yeah. So check this out.
We're supporting this country after the genocide. I just don't see how that's okay to people. And I think that's the part of me that I don't understand, right? But then you start to think, well, am I crazy? Because it seems like it's just okay that the politicians all think that this is okay. And so few of them speak up about it.
Well, I think this is what's separating the old people from the young people in this country. Like if you look at the numbers of how many people that are like 18 to 34 that support the war in Gaza, it's very low. It's very, very, very low, because this is the first time you've ever been able to see what happens when a superpower is attacking a country that essentially doesn't have an army, and they're doing it for years, and they're just blowing buildings up. Like, we've never really seen that before. And I think that the young people of this country, they don't want any part of anything like that anymore.
That's huge. Joe Rogan saying
Joe Rogan's saying that, and the fact that he talks about Palestine, the Palestinians not having an army, the gross inequality, and the idea that an equivalence has been telegraphed to us from the get-go, from the beginning, for decades prior to October the 7th, is an absolute joke. And so the worm has turned. The worm has really turned for Israel. And one hopes that, none of this sudden so-called pause to the genocide, this so-called silence. I mean, I was reading a report today that funding, support, charitable donations towards the Palestinians is cratering because so many people feel that it's over. So many people feel that it's done, that it's stopped. And trust me, Israel are taking advantage of this pause. All the machinations behind the scenes are about continuing the oppression and the occupation is just not happening in the most obviously
just saw the
reportable fashion.
most horrific videos yesterday of children, literally limbs falling off again, 10 blown up sky high. Please don't think it's over. Please support when you can. Please subscribe to this channel and help us get our video out. And also, if you hit the notification bell, that will make sure that our videos come up on your feed. And the same with if you're listening on podcast. Can you just tap on Mel?
Yeah.
Sorry, but folks like him campaigned for Trump and platformed him on his podcast. Absolutely.
Yes, we know that.
He made he played a huge part in Trump getting in. But that's why it's so wonderful, because they have the ear of those people that voted for Trump. So when they see the light and they're not ashamed to say, do you know what? I got this wrong. Actually, now I'm looking at it. We have to amplify those voices because they're the one that speak to that base. And that base are the one that's
I
the
also
base
think,
is what's going to cause more and more problems for Lord Trumpton.
I just want to pull your thing up again, Mel, because this is something that creeps in a lot into activism and when one sort of essentially has taken sides in a conflict and what have you. I agree. You know, we can all agree that it's frustrating that he supported Trump, that perhaps he didn't have the foresight to see that this was coming. It was inevitable, etc., etc. But for me, a really key aspect to any commentator, influencer, activist, whatever, is an ability to look at the facts or what's happening and shift your position.
And not
it
be rigid, standing in concrete.
Absolutely. It doesn't mean you suddenly go, oh, Joe Rogan's always been great. He's obviously made choices that we don't like.
But I do admire people that can
so
change.
So do I, totally.
I admire it. I go, do you know what? I was wrong about that, actually.
And also, I think what's really important is something that Mo was saying the other night when we were out, when he said, it's really important that, you know, when someone that you have no political agreements with whatsoever, you're completely ideologically, completely miles apart, if they end up aligning with you on a certain topic or, you know, issue, then what you need to do is you need to welcome them because they're going to be the best positioned people to talk to their following, their group. Let them try and convince their people. Because
it's fantastic.
If some ardent kind of pro-Palestinian like us tries to talk to Joe Rogan listeners, we're going to get nowhere. But a Joe Rogan listener
just
will
go,
lefties,
like, you know, humanitarian wimps. It would just all be that. We need Joe Rogan. We need Marjorie Taylor Greene with all of her racist agenda that she has. I genuinely believe she's passionate about helping the Epstein victims, survivors, and she's really pissed off about how much money is being stolen from the Americans and given to the Israelis. So those are two things that we thoroughly agree on, and there's probably nothing else that I do agree with her on.
Zoe, I think we need to celebrate when people wake up and open their eyes.
And don't be listening to things like Piers Morgan doing all the shows talking about the horrors of woke. The horrors of what he needs to wake up.
Fiona Hennessy, to be fair, Theo was MAGA, but has had some serious enlightenment and has been very vocal about Palestine and Trump generally.
I admire that. I think I see that as a sign of intelligence.
Yes.
Rigidity, stubbornly sticking to everything you've always believed. I don't think is very smart.
Yeah. And I mean, Michub, I know you say this about Candace. Yeah, he does it primarily for the monetization. Everyone's earning, and so does mainstream media. Mainstream media, I mean, sometimes I get frustrated.
We cannot, there's no such thing as purity.
Well, no. But also everyone's earning a crust. You know, everyone is, you can't, I don't see, one can say it of the independent sort of sector and influence and what have you, but it's what the mainstream media has been doing for years.
Otherwise, we're looking for Jesus to come down, pure as the driven snow, and just speak just absolute truth. People are earning money, but I actually don't believe that Joe Rogan will have gained followers by this shift.
No, not necessarily.
He will have gained and lost, probably. He'll have probably gained some more left-wingers and lost some right-wingers, but I don't think he'll be lying about this. Just for monetization. Do you?
No. Okay, let's talk about COVID, shall we? God, COVID.
Well, no, let's in between have that funny little boy. I love him.
Which one? This one?
The cold one.
Which one?
The one with the little boy that's cold.
Who's the boy that's cold?
Oh, you didn't get it.
Sorry, I've got a girl who's got crying, and I've got a Trump baby. I haven't got another one.
I gave it to you.
Okay. Well, shall I?
Well, let's have Trump, because we're in the middle of Trump.
Wait for Congress to release the Epstein files. Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman here. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax, and ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something. I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with them all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with them all the time. What's his name? Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You got to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you.
I mean, the amount of work that goes into doing that, Mark.
Well, no, it's just, and I love the king. The king's constant response was just.
And this is on.
So for those, can I just explain for those listening on podcast? We were just watching an AI cartoon, kind of the faces of children, toddlers, and babies, kind of imitating that.
But this is our new spitting image. These AI piss takes. It's the spitting image, and it's what we need. We must always take the piss out of politicians.
And as long as when you know AI is AI, it's fine. Yeah. I mean, as long as it's flagged up, it's for me AI at its best when you know it's AI and it's not masquerading as real. It's just like animation, isn't it? It's kind of latest animation. That was very funny, very, very funny. Okay, COVID,
and it's currently going viral. So you saw it here first, guys.
COVID. So the COVID inquiry in the UK, for anyone internationally, we've spent nearly $250 million deciding to say, see, told you so. I just think, fucking hell, the analysis, the inquiry, the, exploration of the inevitability that I think everything I read in the COVID inquiry coming out is stuff that we felt at the time, sensed at the time, responding slowly in some instances, without leadership in others,
and then too extreme in others.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's very clear that delay when he was at Chequers and he wasn't going to any briefings. That's when it took hold. That if he'd taken the advice, Boris, and done some kind of control in the first few weeks, they estimated something like 23,000 lives could have been saved.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you remember, guys, do you remember all those videos coming out from Italy where people were screaming into the camera saying, don't let that happen here. Don't let that happen here. And it's just a whole litany of mistakes, disasters throughout the whole report, isn't it? It
really is.
It really is. And interestingly in there, Sweden, do you remember Sweden? Sweden did almost nothing except stop large gatherings and get any people that the people that were most at risk, people with comorbidities, to isolate. And guess what? Guess what? The lowest deaths in Europe. The lowest. So it's a little bit confusing, that, because it's like, well, they let that happen. But I think the key was there that the comorbidities in the elderly stayed in. So there's lots in there that much of us felt. But what we wanted to talk a bit more about today was the children.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the idea, see, the weirdest thing about the whole COVID thing is I've often trotted out the idea that any mistakes, it's not like they couldn't make mistakes. That I'd like to put that out there first.
Yeah.
You know, we were dealing with an unknowable thing. We had no precedent for it. It's easy, and I always call it hindsight productions. It's so easy to look back and go, oh, well, in retrospect, we should have opened then, done that then, done this then. Where what I think is unforgivable, there were many times, and I think we felt this when, as you rightly said, we saw it coming across the globe, and we felt that we needed to take stronger action sooner, so that you can take stronger action sooner for not so long. And one of the kind of obvious spin outs from the analysis is that we essentially, this is the headline, betrayal of our children. COVID inquiry finds that lockdowns brought ordinary childhood to a halt.
To a halt. Ordinary childhood to a halt. That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And that the closure of schools will have lasting effects.
And it does. You talk to any teachers, and a lot of schools are chaos. They can't control kids in the way they did. There's so much more spliff smoking. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? They got behind. I mean, I hate that whole thing about behind. And yeah, just the ripple on effect that will go on and on and on. I mean, listen, so many areas now have their mental health lists at the GP closed. You haven't even got any hope of getting your child onto getting any sort of mental health help. Can't even get them on the list. Now, this is since, it's always been bad, but since COVID, it's been just horrendous. And there doesn't seem to be any great plans to do anything about it.
No, and also, I mean, one of the things that I think is really reprehensible is that we just, in our mission to get everyone back ensnared in the system, propping up a system that benefits the rich, doesn't benefit ordinary people, a generation of kids, a generation of children, both prior to that sort of epicenter of kids. Everyone focuses on the kids that were taking GCSEs or were taking exams. And of course, for everyone under the age of 18, wherever you were in your age under 18, when COVID landed, it ripped away from you, if not literally, your childhood and experiences and relationships and relatives and what have you, and hopes and dreams and all the rest of it. But it also ripped away from you. And I think this is something we don't ever account for in our younger generation. And now that our young adults, I'm thinking of our eldest, who's 22, it ripped away from them any sense of certainty or safety around, if a crisis happens again, or if something huge happens again, how are they going to be treated? How are we going to be treated? How are we going to be looked after, not looked after, etc. But
not social. It's just a simple thing of not socializing for all that time. Do you remember all the little ones who weren't seeing people's mouths move because of the mask? So the speech delay. A friend of ours who's a teacher says there's so much speech delay. She teaches younger kids, and there's lots of people commenting. Actually, we should read them out. Sorry, Jenny, talking about school lockdowns. My daughter has to repeat all her schooling because of the damage of schools being closed. Well, exactly. And in the report, it says that what should have happened was they knew early on this wasn't affecting children. They should have let children socialise. They should have let children go to school.
That was one of the most unforgivable moments with the vaccine, where there was proof that taking the vaccine for us under a certain age wasn't stopping the spread, but they insisted on them taking the vaccine.
Oh, God. If I had my time again, I wouldn't have taken it.
Marat Sparthwater says, I always wonder about the value of comparing us with Sweden. We are about 6 times the population, and I think about 60 to 70% the area of Sweden.
Yes, we should be looking at the
population
percentage,
density,
shouldn't we? But all through the report, I think obviously...
Reese makes a good point. This is a follow-up to a comment you made earlier, Reese, which I think is good, that there should be a remembrance day for people who suffer COVID. I think that's a really important thing.
I think we should.
And it would be the first step, as Reese says, in helping people's mental health, having a collective acknowledgement of all the trauma.
Because there's
really.
thousands and thousands, like war amounts of people that died.
Yeah.
And people that were kept from their dying. The care home situation. We had Ruthie Henshaw on the other day on Loose Women, and she just had a horrendous time with her mother and not being able to get to see her mother and not being with her mother when she died. I mean, there's thousands of stories like that. And we're supposed to just forget it. Why are we supposed to forget it? Because as usual, there were a whole group of people that made a hell of a lot of money. And there were a whole lot of people that manipulated and had a whole set of different rules for themselves. So that's why we're all supposed to forget it. And I think a Remembrance Day would be brilliant. I wonder if any other countries have a Remembrance Day.
Right down to, I'll read Tanya's comment in a moment, but also right down to the idea that, you read again in the right-wing media principally, why is there still a compulsion to work from home? Lightweights, shirkers, all this kind of stuff. Whereas actually what happened again in lockdown was people willing to work and were working, but also realized they had more cash in their pocket, were not living under so much stress because they weren't paying £12,000 a year to travel on overcrowded late transport to do a job that meant that they could. So what they discovered was they had cash in their pocket and they could pay for the mortgage. So, but of course the system, because those companies and those broadcasters and those media outlets are run by billionaires with vested interests and want to keep making money, they need everyone back out doing everything. There's never any acknowledgement that actually some things that happened in COVID lockdown spoke to a different kind of life, but also altered lives irreparably for so many.
And let us never forget, they were partying the whole goddamn time and taking in suitcases of booze. God damn them, honestly.
Tanya Bartlett, I'm not sticking up for Boris and his government, but it was the first epidemic. And I say this a lot, the world had dealt with, we followed certain countries and a lot of the world isolation, closed schools, etc.
But when you read some, we haven't read all the report, obviously, but some of the report, just the woeful, he was not engaging, Boris.
No.
He just wasn't listening. He wasn't going to briefings. Matt Hancock was given enormous powers that he just was not qualified to have. Do you remember the first guy that said, what was his name, who recommended the lockdown?
Chris Whitty.
No, the other one who was caught breaking the lockdown because he was to go and meet his married lover.
Yes.
Neil somebody, wasn't it? And again, you always have these conflicting opinions with scientists. So he'd done this modeling originally and said we needed that lockdown straight away, and then a whole other group of them were saying that he was over dramatic. So of course, there is leeway. There was no perfect way to do this, but it is important that we look at these in detail, these happenings, in case it ever happens again, please God, no. I don't think they'll ever get anyone to lock down again.
Well, I was about to say, I think the most important outcome from all of this is because of the Tories' behaviour, wearing appallingly styled jumpers, partying and dancing, whilst, as Zoe says, she had to watch her grandmother's funeral on YouTube. Why would anyone listen to the government again? I mean, the problem we've got across so many different topics and parts of everyday life in the West, in America and the UK principally, we have lost all trust in our governmental system. When you've lost all trust in it and you have no belief in it, how can you expect the population to do as you ask them to do?
Oh, look at this, Victoria. My daughter was a toddler at the time and she developed a tic. Stim, my son was 9, he seemed less affected, but how can we ever know? And I think that's the really good point. And I think, within families, it's good to sometimes have a time where you talk about it. Reese recommends there, and I think it's a good idea that we should have a Memorial Day. We can create those ourselves by daring to just prise it open and have a conversation about it.
And that's without the conversation, and that
sits in us.
Yeah, and that's without the conversation even about the vaccines and what they've done to people's health and
my God,
so
which
much,
we do want to go into at some point. But also, when you think about children that were in chaotic homes and violent homes, and women that were in violent domestic abuse relationships, Jesus Christ, and alcoholism and all of that, the damage, and there's not a word spoken about it. So wrong. Right.
Okay. Do you want another funny? Should we have this little girl?
Have the little girl, and then we'll do the nappies. Yeah.
What happened, Daddy?
I'm in love.
With who?
With mommy.
Oh. You must cry more.
The beauty
That's
of
so
children.
cute. Let's do that
What
again.
happened, Daddy?
I'm in love.
With who?
With mommy.
Oh. You must cry more.
Aww.
You must cry more. The way that she worked that out,
Yeah,
I
it's
just,
so cute.
oh my God,
So cute.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to
Children.
pop this headline up. What's your response, guys? It is: parents should ask babies for consent before changing their diapers, nappies,
Just going to check
say
my poll.
experts. Now, I'm not for a minute suggesting the New York Post is a reputable publication. It's not. But as a headline,
Ooh.
what do we think of this?
Do you want my poll?
Yes, Nadia's
So
done a
far,
poll.
do you agree? Good point. Maybe I do. 12%. No way. 83%.
Right.
Absolutely agree. 5%.
Right.
That was on my one. I wonder on Coffee Moaning. What would you have voted there, Mark?
Well, I
no
think,
way 100% over on Coffee Moaning.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, I think no way. But then I do wonder if there is a certain age bracket of, say, the older baby, younger toddler type that still is in a nappy for whatever reasons, or wears the occasional nappy if you're going out and what have you, where I think introducing, not going into a big formal consent thing, but kind of throwing up the fact that you're about to do it, rather than the kind of, I guess some parents might just kind of tuck a baby under their arm and head off and do it, and suddenly the child's kind of like, what's going on? So I do think the older toddler is yeah.
At the start of a nappy change, ensure your child knows what is happening.
Right.
Get down to their level and say, you need a nappy change, and then pause so they can take that in.
Elizabeth Diamond says they would all say no.
Then you can say, do you want to walk, crawl with me, or to the changing table, or would you like me to carry you? Say the specialist. Observe their facial expressions and body language to check if they understand what is happening. This can be a time to help children learn about consent and how their bodies work.
Ray Cruz says, seriously, God help us.
You know what, though? That's what I thought initially, but then I had a bit more of a think about it. And, you know, years ago, like, I grew up in a household where it was like all aunties, they would like pinch you, go to your auntie, you'd be crying, you'd go to your aunt.
Petrifying.
And like when people said to me, oh, you shouldn't, if a child is crying, you shouldn't make them go to somebody else. And I used to go, oh, what a load of nonsense. I disagree with that now, because I think we have an innate instinct that says to us, don't do something. And I think right from that age, when we go, no, go anyway, you're teaching your child that this feeling that they've got, they shouldn't trust. Right. So I've come round to that, and I absolutely totally agree with that. You know, go, it's, oh, don't be silly, go and have a kiss. You know,
and so like, you think, yeah, and I mean,
and sometimes when I think about how I've changed nappies, or you watch people, it's just like picking them up, ripping it off, like, you know, like this in front of it. We're exhausted, we're tired, we just want to get the fucking thing done. I get it. I was exactly the same. But I think there's some sense in that, and not too much. Like, we're going to change your nappy now. Just like, just not maybe ripping it off wherever you are, talking about. It's very exposing, actually. So and it goes in, it causes little neural pathways that says your body actually can just be.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So in a weird way, what you're saying is that it's non-verbal and potentially endemic in just being a human, as you're a baby human. And you just accept that suddenly something can happen to you, and it might mean that it's confusing and more distressing and difficult to understand where those boundaries are when you're older.
Oh, look, King Budget, I've done this with both my boys. It's a way of teaching consent. Yeah. So you might say, oh, wow, you know, time changing nappy. Why don't you go and get the nappies? And I bet that's a bit uncomfortable. So you're giving them some, you know, some autonomy over their body. It's not about really asking permission. I think they're going to say, no, I'm playing.
I think I'd always say to her, one would always generally say, shall we go and change your nappy now? And they'll look at you and they'll probably think about whether they're wet and uncomfortable. Go, oh yeah, okay, please. I mean, I think the story's aimed at older kids.
Sometimes just go, get it off, put it on, wipe it off. And I just think, Obviously not every time, but I think there's something in it.
Victoria Moore says you should say you've shit yourself. So realistically, darling, you have no choice. Yeah, it's kind of blunt and to the point. I like it. I always said, let's go change your nappy, and then led them, Jane Clancy. That's what I've kind of always said and done. Yeah. And I always constantly chatted to my children. Anyway, so probably did almost give them a voice over. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. I do think that it's kind of a standard kind of acceptance that children can just be, a lot of parents, there's a lot of chatter I've seen or articles about mums who don't just want their kids just freely picked up, moved around and handed to everyone and chicky and all that. So
that's how I grew up.
Maybe it's another part of that where actually we need to respect not just the child, but the child and the parents' kind of desires, maybe. Yeah.
Your child is not everybody's
property.
Not everyone has a right to hold your child to, and I just think that, and you know, it doesn't mean there's something mortally wrong with the person. Sometimes the child just might be tired. I mean, if you think about it, you know, if you're really tired, you're a bit grizzly and you're hungry, but you're a grown up and you don't really want to socialize, you choose not to. It's kind of like that.
Yes.
And it's about finding choice and boundaries really young, not rigidly, but I think it's
I just want to read this comment out and just answer it just before we end. Kimberly Hill, he didn't, Trump, call for execution. Crap like this, what he said was truth left acting unhinged and is basically treasonous, needs to be dealt with. They are doing anti-American stuff. Rational peeps see it. Okay, I think what you're saying there is he didn't really mean it. He was just using kind of strong language. This is a man, this is a man who allegedly had his ear shot off nearly. This is a country where political violence is the norm. Let's think of Charlie Kirk and various presidents who've been shot at and shot, and leaders who've been shot, and politicians who've been shot. And I think you, as a president, can't use language in a country like that, in a country where guns are freely available everywhere and incitement is natural. So under normal circumstances, I'd say, yes, hyperbole, it doesn't mean anything, it can't be real. But I think it's different when it's America.
But also, there is a certain responsibility with that level of office not to use language like that. Yeah, maybe out on the street, you're going to go, well, it's a bit street. They didn't really mean it. But when you know that it's going to be, you know, transmitted across the world, that sort of language should be an absolute. If he didn't really mean it, you know, what's he doing saying it? Because it's, in my opinion.
Same here. Okay, guys. Well, thank you. Have a lovely Friday.
So please hit the subscribe button. Are you going to do your mental marking?
No, I've just uploaded it.
All right. Lots of love, everybody.
Of love,
hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and we love you very much. See you very soon.
Part 2 of our